traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of your imagination. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Mangiameli Zone.
For you Twilight Zone fans, we are now entering the Mangiameli Zone. So anyway, thanks everybody for attending. We are at 34. Anybody who's not here, bad decision. So anyway, a lot of you know Tony. Most of you do. Newer people on the line will get to know him. But he just celebrated his. Well, first of all, let me start out. One of the best family men I know. In July, he will be married to his beautiful bride, Crystal, for 22 years. His son, Nico, is a junior at Cal State Fullerton in Los Angeles. His beautiful daughter with the electric smile, Gianna, is a sophomore in high school right now. And Tony had his birthday on Monday. It was a momentous one. I won't tell you which one because he looks so youthful. So anyway, so now the business stuff, he's a multiple President's Council qualifier, most recently for last year's production. Multiple Topper Club qualifier, almost 8,000 policies in force. One of the most amazing things to me though, and what he's most proud of is the 72+% of his book of business is cross-sold. You think about that number. The district average is way below that. The state of California is way below that, but that number is number one in California, 72% plus. Last year, he wrote, if you look at the Soaring Eagle Review, you'll know that he wrote over $1 million in new business gross written premium, which is a phenomenal feat, with a great deal of it being in auto and fire. So when somebody comes to me and says, well, you know, I'm having problems writing auto and fire, well, what we're going to do today should solve that problem. And his 25-year farmer's anniversary was this past January 10th. So it's a momentous year for this young man. So the other thing that most people don't know about, and I've gone to at least one of these events, is he was one of the founding members of the, okay, and I'm going to try to pronounce, okay, come on, he laughs at me every time. The Rompaco, oh, shit.
Do an Italian slang to it.
Do an Italian.
Rompa Corleone.
Go to say it again.
Rompa Corleone.
There you go. Just like Michael Corleone.
It means ball busters in Italian.
Uh-oh. So it's a car club in San Jose. And during the course of the year, they do a ton of charitable work. There's an event that they do in downtown Mountain View where they take basically an entire block of downtown. Other people come and bring their cars, and it's all to raise money for charity. The food drive.
We started off as a food drive. Now we're doing it for a PAL. We just switched about a year ago to PAL to help the kids get off the streets and help make them make something of themselves. Yeah.
Great. So PAL is still Police Athletic League, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Still.
All right. So good. So now you know a little bit about Tony. So why'd you become a farmer's agent?
I needed money.
It's a good answer.
No, you know, just before we start, I just want everyone to kind of take a good look at me, and I want to see that I'm just a white trash loser. And I jokingly say that because I'm nothing special. I'm nobody special. I grew up most of my life with 2 learning disabilities. As a child, I was told I was going to be nothing. I wasn't going to make anything out of myself. But here I am, you know, one of the top agents. And so what I'm getting at is if I can do it, you can do it, basically. There's nothing special about me. It's just apply yourself, figure out the right tools to get you to be successful and apply them. I think everyone has that ability to be where I'm at, everybody. But like I said, I am nobody special. And you just got to apply yourself. And one last thing I'll say, and this might get me into trouble, but I really think you should have some sort of relationship with God. I know I probably shouldn't bring this up, but that's just me. I think that, you know, God wants you to succeed and God wants you to be happy and successful, and all you got to ask him, who will provide. But that was about it. That's I'll get off my little soapbox for that. Fred.
So, Yeah, and I will agree with all that, but I think the part for me, from my point of view, knowing him for more than 25 years, is that the special part is the drive, the determination, the intestinal fortitude, the want to win, the desire to meet goals, not necessarily goals, but his goals, and to not stop until you do it, and to not take no for an answer. Those are the skills that people need to develop, because I mean that's what you do to a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you just, in the goals you set, don't set goals for the company. I never try to make the company happy. What's going to make me happy is selling a large amount of policies. And I'm also a firm believer is I don't care what you do in life. I don't care if you're a garbage man or if you're an insurance agent, or whatever you do. And you put it out there in the universe, and it just will happen. I mean, you just got to believe in yourself. You got to have confidence, not cockiness, but you got to have confidence where, like, every day I come to my office hungry. I come to my office saying, I got no policies, I got no customers, and I got no money. So I have, and that's the mentality I have when I walk into his office. And I come in there and I set goals for myself. Like, I don't say I want to, that word is not even in my vocabulary. I walk into the office every day saying, I'm selling 5 policies today, minimum 5 policies today. So again, you don't go into the mindset of, I want to, I hope to, I hope I can do this. There's no can and want. It's, I'm going to do it. It's that simple. It's, I'm selling 5 policies today. And you just keep that mental positive attitude, and it just happens. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, of course, and we'll get into that, but you got to be confident in yourself, because if you're not, your clients will see it. That's about it.
here we go. Okay, good. So what made you want to become an agent?
Well, I wanted to be self-employed. Most important, I wanted to be a good career that will give me residual income, and something I could pass on to my children.
Okay, very good. I know the answer to this because I saw it. How large was your first office?
My first office was actually smaller than the office I'm in now, as far as, so right now I have about 5 offices in one building. And my office here, the office, to answer your question, probably 8 feet by 12 feet, or maybe max. Yeah. So let's just say I had to shut the filing cabinet door to walk out on my desk. It was small.
And he had to push the guest chairs up against his desk to close the door.
Yeah.
So, and that's for all the new people. So it doesn't matter where you start, because what you're doing is what gets you to that next office, and you ought to be on. Okay. So I already kind of answered a lot of this. What motivates you? Some of that you already answered.
Yeah, everyone's going to have their own motivation, and a lot of you are going to find your own motivation. My motivation for me was money, because I had a fear of being homeless and poor. I think maybe because it was drilled in my head that I wasn't going to be anything growing up. So, my fear was to not be successful. So I made sure from the beginning, I ran like a bat out of hell to make sure I was successful. And even once I became successful and independent and with a good amount of money, I still didn't know it. So I still just kept running towards it, and I haven't stopped. And back to goals, I always set high goals, and my goal has always been to make $100,000 a year. And a month, I'm sorry, a month. And I won't stop till I get there. So, that's just goals you set, and you should always have goals and drive, and never be satisfied with what you have. Matter of fact, I can probably show you a card in here that from the day one of 6/16 of 2000 or 1996, I wrote back one of my business cards. Never be satisfied with what you have, always want more. Because I think what a problem with a lot of agents that I come across, they get this goal, that's a small goal, of making a XYZ of money and an XYZ amount of policies, and they get happy and complacent. They go, oh, I'm good. I don't have to do any more. I'll just live off this residual income. Horrible idea, because what's going to happen is PI, the policies in force will drop down, and you will lose policy, you will lose income, and now you lost the momentum of getting you where you're at, and it's just going to be a downward spiral. So you should always want to produce, always want to sell, and keep replacing what's fallen off the books.
What do you believe separates you from other agents, or the agency from other agencies?
The amount of hours I work. I literally work from 9 to 9 every single night. On the weekends I work, not that long, but I work. What people got to realize is again, it's really all what you want in life. If you want to be successful, if you want to have 8,000 PIF, you can't just work from 9 to 5. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. You have to be able to get a hold of those clients after hours that you can't get a hold of during office hours. And you just should always just keep working and working to just want to better yourself. But I think that's the main thing that separates me from a lot of people. It's just the drive, and even like Kevin said, is I don't take.
One of them was on the.
No, it's not for that. This is really live.
Someone needs a mute. That's all right, but it's just, you got to have, you don't take. Kevin was mentioning something about me not taking notes, and we can get into that later too.
Yeah. Okay. How do you market the agency? We'll go back to how did you market it when it first started, and what's now? How is it?
Well, marketing is very important. You want to keep your name out there consistently. Way back when, there's a book. It's called the White Pages, the Yellow Pages. I mean.
Oh yeah.
So we used to advertise the Yellow Pages. We used to try to do a full page ad, because the bigger the ad, the top the closer you are from the beginning of the list of the people are looking for. So used to Yellow Page. I used to do doorknob hangers. Doorknob hangers is a thing that you prepay the post office, ahead of time, and then you can send it out, or you can have someone send it out for you. Put doorknob hangers on people's doors, and they would check a box. I'm interested in auto, home, fire. Rip it, throw it in the mail. The post office pays for it. Well, I pay for it, but it's already prepaid for it. And then you make an X date. Kevin will mention X dates throughout a lot of meetings. You guys have heard him say, and X dates are very important. I used to also call from the White Pages too, and I think that's still a good thing to do. I know it's a scary thing to do for a lot of people. It was a little scary for me, but after the first 5 people that hang up on you and tell you to go F off, you get that fear goes away. It really does. But what I used to do is do a simple little speech. I used to tell people, I think I still remember it, but it was, hi, my name is Tony from Farmer Insurance. Just want to ask you one quick question. So I say that so they know that I'm going to be off the phone real quick. I don't want to be a typical salesman with them. And they say, I was wondering if I can, when your policy comes up for renewal, if I can call you back at that time. Again, so now they think, okay, for sure he's not going to sell me anything now. I can talk to this guy another time. Well, if I can call you back when your policy renews to see if I can save you some money. Oh, well, maybe he can save me some money. So that that little speech right there was magical and worked really well for me. And they would say yes, because they had nothing to lose. And then I write down Tim, and they tell me his policy renewed in January. And I said, okay, well, do you mind if I call you back in December? Sure. Little X date file under December, and then so on and so on. And when those each months come by, you call people up. Hey, it's Tony. Remember, you wanted me to give you a call and see if I can save you some money on your insurance, and you do a quote. So that's what I used to do at the very beginning. And then after that, once the agency grew, I realized that there was a gold mine in the agencies, everyone's agencies, that things aren't possible. So I would pick a line of business and say, okay, I'm going to go through all renewals, or I'm going to print out lists. And Farmers has a lot of great lists that we can print out. Auto, no home, home, no auto, auto, home, no umbrella. I mean, you can pull up all kinds of lists. And so, and matter of fact, Kevin's probably going to, but these are my lists that are on my desk as of today. They weren't here because of this meeting. They're just here because when I have nothing to do, or if I am done doing my other things that I do, then I'll go to the list and I'll try to cross sell. But yeah, one year we picked umbrella, and I sold, to this day, I think I still have the most umbrella policies ever sold in 1 year since the company's been in business. I think the following year I picked life, and awards right there. I think we wrote over 300 life policies, but issued 256 in 1 year. So again, it's just applying yourself, coming up with a plan, coming up with a goal, and just cross sell. And to this day, the only marketing I do really is I have a bunch of ads and I repost them every single day on Facebook just to constantly get my name in front of people's faces. And eventually they go, you know what, my policy just renewed, or my agent didn't call me back, I'm mad at him. I am going to give Tony a call because I see his damn post every single day. I'm going to give him a call and see what he can do. But I also still cross sell. I still go through those lists and I cross sell on renewal. Matter of fact, I go through every one of my renewals. And when I see where premiums are going up drastically, I give that to one of my staff and say, hey, call this client up or see what happened. You know, maybe there's a driver that the company added that's not supposed to be added. And I see what she could do to get that down. Because again, I'm all about retention as well. I don't want to lose too many people. But when I see someone,
yeah, and you're using the renewal support tool to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we push you guys on that so hard, is because it's just, they're all there. And what did you used to have to do in the old days? You have to look at the alerts, look at the renewals and paper and all that, all that junk.
Yeah.
So, hey, renewal support tool is a great thing. And the list of the ones that we talk about when Barney and I come out, we show you the density report. How many, let's say you've got a bunch of houses that don't, or homeowners that don't have auto insurance. That's what he's talking about. That's what these lists are. They're home no auto, auto no home, home and auto only, life only, and then it creates your list for you.
You know, I can't stress this enough. There, print out those lists, because especially the ones where it's auto no home. If you can't sell 10 a day from that list, or even 5 a day from that list, because it's so simple. You print out an ECMS screen. I like visuals, right? Because I want to have all this information in front of me before I call the client. I don't want to be like, hey, I might be able to save you some money. Do you want me to see? Hold on. You know, they're going to be pissed. They're going to be bored, and they're already turned off. So I do all the homework before I even call the client. I print out ECMS screen, and I say, okay, they have 2 autos with me now. Discount if they own, what would be the savings, what would be the discount if they have a renters, what would be the savings. Then I quote out a homeowners, or I quote out a renters. So that way when I call the client up, I said, hey, you know, I noticed you don't have your home or fire with us, whatever way you want to word it. I'd love to give you a quote on that, because matter of fact, I already did, and then the homeowners insurance, renters insurance is $130 a year. But between your 5 cars, we add that discount, you know, we should be able to get to $140 a year savings, or $100 a year savings. So therefore, the net cost to you for this renter's insurance is only $30 a year. Or, you know, what I like to do is I like to give them the monthly, because it's a smaller number. I always tell them the smaller number. When it's a cost to them, you tell them the smaller number. So it's only $3 a month for you for this renter's policy. Now, if it's a big number, then I give them the yearly. Oh, you're saving $1,000. I'll give you an example. Kevin's looking here. This is actually 2 people I'm supposed to call today for life insurance. What I did first on this one here, I might be jumping around here, but this is what I did on a renewal that was saving money. So that's important too. And I love those when you look up the renewals and it's green and you see someone saving money. That's a cross-sell opportunity that you will sell that customer no matter what you want to sell them on, because they're already saving money from the renewal. But unfortunately, little white lie, don't tell them that they're saving the money because of the renewal, because the ticket fell off or something like that. Explain to them, like, here's one here. First, I did a friendly farmers review. And as you know, with COVID, you know, annual mileages are all wacky right now. A lot of people are working from home, and they're going to stay working from home. So we just go through the annual mileage, make sure those are correct. And then I look at what it would be for savings if they had life insurance with me. And then the savings after that renewal savings I just told you about. So this particular person is going to save $1,384 a year. Okay, down to about $121 a month savings that they're going to save. So then I do a quote for them for life insurance. And first, when I call them up, I tell them, hey, I got a creative way of maybe saving you some money and getting you something that you need. So then I'll go into why it's so important to get life insurance for their families and stuff. So I sell them on the need that they need life insurance. And then I tell them, like this particular person, you know, if you get a life insurance policy, it's going to cost you $55 a month. But remember, your monthly bills are going to go down $121 a month. So therefore, the net cost to you is free, and you're going to save $792 a year every year that the policy is in force. That's a no-brainer, right? And then I tell you, if you don't want to do it and your wife wants to do it, then the net cost is still free, but your net savings is $1,152 a year. You could also continue that. Say, if you guys want to do it together, it's this amount. So now you can sell 2 life policies. What I'm getting at is these are no-brainers. These people are going to buy this policy. And again, I don't hope they're going to buy it. I don't wish they're going to buy it. I know they're going to buy it. And so when I call them, I got to have that confidence that they're going to buy it, and they're going to buy it. So it's so important to look at all your renewals for 2 reasons. One is when the policies are going up, you got to give them to somebody that can handle it to get it down for them with a farmer's friendly review. And if your premiums are going down as far as the savings, find something to cross them, a home, an umbrella, whatever it is. So
what you're doing is you're basically playing the call, the appointment, whatever it is, in your head before you do it. You're creating your notes and trying to make it as efficient and simple for them as you possibly can.
as simple for the client as possible. I have a family member moving into a different state, and they're older, and they asked me to shop around for them, and I called up 3 different companies. One of them was Geico, but I did it for them. They wanted me to do it. So painful. Oh my God. I mean, I was on the phone for 45 minutes, and I ended up yelling at the guy and giving him attitude because I'm in the industry. I know it shouldn't take this long. What I'm saying is, do your clients a favor. Do all the homework before you call them, because you want everything to be so simple. Every time I sell a policy to someone, whether it's a new customer calling in or it's someone I cross-sell, they always say the same thing. Oh my gosh, that's so simple. Because it is. I make it simple for them. And I think that's very important, because if your clients have a good experience with you, they're more likely to refer you out. And that's what I do all the time. Is I really thrive on being the best customer service I possibly can, because I need these clients to refer me out, and that's where you're going to get a good amount of your business as well. If you don't call your clients back, if you don't do little things like give them your personal cell phone number, some of you might disagree with that. You really want to give the top-notch customer service, because let me tell you something, we're not the cheapest. There's other people cheaper out there, and they will go somewhere else if you don't give them the top-notch customer service.
Right. So, and just, to get a look at it, it's just all these notes that make sense to him, shows the calculation. So when he calls a person back, he goes through his own little playbook or play sheet with this thing. And so there's no time wasted. It makes perfect sense to them. And you never really discuss, well, the auto that you have now costs this, with Farmers it's this, or the home with the other companies this, or it's just, you're just talking about the savings and or the increased coverage, or
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now, when I quote out someone who's brand new to my office, 9 out of 10 times they're calling for auto, right? Oh, and you get auto quote. Okay. Well, part of my questions, and that's another thing too, I'm kind of back up a little bit, is you really want to do a lot of fact finding when someone calls you up. What's their occupation? Do they have a college degree? Does your child have 3.0 or better? What's your mileage to and from work? Don't ask them what they're going to drive per year, because they're never going to calculate it right. Just ask, what's your one-way miles to work? And then you calculate it yourself for them, and then add a little bit on top of that. Ask them their coverages. You want to compare apples to apples. You don't want to give them great coverage, but now they have state minimum. Well, now you're more expensive, but at least you're more expensive for a reason. So find out what their coverages are, match apples to apples. And during that fact find, you're going to ask them, do you own or do you rent? They're going to answer you. You don't say anything else after that. Say, okay, I got all the information. Let me work out a quote for you, and I'll call you back. Don't keep them on the phone. They don't got time for that. Get the information, write it down. I write them down in these little Post-its here, little orange Post-its here, and then I'll call the client back. But one thing an important thing I said to you guys just now is that do you own or do you rent? So if they rent, they're getting a renter's quote, regardless if they want it or not. They're getting a renter's quote. So that's something I think a lot of people leave out. They'll just do the article. They'll just do what the client asks. If they own a house, they're getting a homeowner's quote. And you tell them, this is, we're going to do, I did both. I know you didn't ask for it, but I did both because you need to bundle everything together because if you don't, you're leaving discounts off the table. You need to keep everything together because you're going to save a lot of money that way. And you tell them the savings. And I can also tell them, well, hey, you have homeowners now and you have your all together. If I'm really going to compare apples to apples, I got to compare with the same discounts as well. So now instead of just selling those two autos, you just sold two autos in a home. So you sold an policy. And that's how I'm able to have 72% of my book of business cross, because I don't give them that opportunity to buy one lines of business off of me.
So let me ask you this. One of the things that we do is teach the new people to not give apples to apples quotes, with the idea that, you know, we're selling them more coverage, we're going to go cost per thousand and all that stuff, how it really is cheaper. And that's how you get to the umbrella.
Right. So I say do apples to apples, the fact of making sure you're not giving the person more coverage and they already have less. But just because I said that, I'm not going to quote out that state minimum. You know what I mean? So even though I asked what their coverages are and I say compare apples to apples, I guess I kind of word it wrong. Find out what their coverages are now. And then if they're too low, like I don't know how many times I've seen people have 15, 30 and they own a home. And I'll tell them that. And they appreciate that because you're also discrediting their prior carrier. You're saying, even if you don't go with me and you stay with your prior carrier or your current carrier, change your limits of liability. They are way too low. And they appreciate that you have the knowledge and you gave them now the knowledge of it. And now they start second questioning their existing agent going, well, shit, he's not taking care of me. If I own a home and Tony just told me that if I hurt somebody, they're only gonna cover me for 15,000. Well, now I have a high risk of getting sued. So, and losing everything. So they appreciate that. Even if we're more expensive, switch over because you just gave them better coverage. And then to the umbrella policy, the umbrella is a really easy sale as well. I mean, the client's gonna save maybe $10 a month on their insurance if they have a lot with us. The umbrella on average is $28 a month. So you just tell the client for $18 a month, you have an extra $1 million of protection on all your cars, on your home, you know, and for all the drivers, it's kind of a no-brainer. So
Do you run the list that we were talking about, one of these ones here, auto and home only, so then you know they don't have an umbrella?
So I do that as well, but I also do this. So this happens to be one where it shows the limits of liability. And what I did is I circled the ones that have 250, 500, or the ones that have 500, 500, because now I don't have to increase their limits of liability and increase their premium. Even though if you have clients that have 100, 300 and increase their coverages to 500, 500, with the umbrella discount, it drops it down. So that's being a wash. Almost every time it's a wash. So that's good too. But this is just a list that I can quickly go to so I don't have to do that for the client. So now that if they already have the 500, 500, and then I throw the umbrella discount on there, now they're going to save money on their auto policies.
So if you guys have questions on how to run the 250, 500 limits, or 500, 500 limits, or even the 100, 300, like Tony's saying, to get from 100, 300, 250, 500 to qualify for the umbrella, then let us know and we'll give you instructions. Now, staying on the umbrella, is the difference in premium. You said, so going from 250, 500 to 500, basically again, it's going to be a wash because the umbrella is less expensive.
Well, no, what it is even if they have 100, 300, and I put 500, 500, the premium will, I'm making these numbers up. Let's say it goes up $50 per 6 months. But then you add the umbrella discount,
right? And
they just save $50. So that's where it's a wash.
Well, what I'm trying to get is you do everything you can to sell 500, 500.
Well, you should never, ever, ever, ever sell an umbrella policy at 250, 500. And I'll tell you why. When you go from 250, 500 to 500, 500, the increase is minimal. Okay. but the savings on the umbrella is big. So let's give you an example. I just increased this guy's premium from $250 to $500. The premium went up $12 per car. It's really low. But now their umbrella policy that was $300 a year, because you have 500, everything. Now that $300 umbrella policy is only $250. So now there's a $50 savings. So it's way better to do it that way. It's an easier sale to do it that way. So never, ever, ever do 250, 500.
Okay, so the largest percentage of new business policies come from, I guess you maybe kind of already explained that, but and then how has it changed over the years? So I mean, you're obviously asking for referrals when you talk to somebody. Reasons kind of missed the boat. We want to hurry, make the sale, and then just get out of there before somebody changes their mind instead of really putting the time and asking for referrals.
Yeah, and asking for referrals are very important, but again, I'm gonna go back to customer service. If you give good customer service and you just save them money, you educate them on their coverage, they're happy and they're gonna refer you out to people. So again, I go back to just taking care of your clients. If your clients call you up and have a question and you have to call them back that day. Don't wait 24 hours. If a client has a problem, make sure it's taken care of that day. Don't wait 24 hours. Make your clients feel like they're special. Make them feel that you're on the ball and you're there to help them out no matter what. Again, I just can't push that enough. Just customer service. Yeah.
You can answer. I mean, what would you say is the foundation of the agency?
Good staff. It's a combination of everything. I mean, at the end of the day, the staff is your foundation, and you have to have great staff. So the structure that's on that foundation stays strong and it doesn't fall apart. Yeah.
And what's been your experience in terms of right staff?
It's very difficult. I have 3 here now. The 2 I've never had a problem with. It's the third person I'm always had a hard time finding a good solid third person. I think there's a time where it's every other month I was getting rid of that third person. But here's a great thing that everyone should do when you interview someone that has farmers experience, or they say they have farmers experience. Put them behind the desk, role play with them. Pretend like you're a customer. Say, hey, I have a question on my bill. Can you tell me what my bill is? And let them show you they know what they're doing. I don't know how many times I've hired someone that says, oh, I have farmers experience. I know what to do. They don't know what to do. So, again, the foundation would be the staff. The second thing would be customer service. And that's really about it. Customer service and staffing foundation.
Okay. So we know that your areas of expertise are auto, homeowners, umbrellas, and commercial. How did you gravitate towards just what turned you on about, and still does, about auto, home, and umbrella, and life, and the account? Is that?
I've always been the same way from day one. And what excites me is just the sale. Sales excites me. Selling, even if it was just a monoline, which it never is, but even if it was a monoline policy, I'm excited. And I have that board in the back. I should have brought it out. So I still keep the sales record book. And what I do is I have on the sales record book, it's numbered, 1 through 30. And I put a line at every 5th one, because that's where I need to be at. Every day I need to have at least 5 policies sold. So, and there's times like Monday, I think I sold 15 policies Monday, but that doesn't mean I'm 3 days of cushion. Tuesday comes around, I still have to sell those 5. So you don't give yourself a cushion. It doesn't work like that. You still have to sell, no matter what you sold the day before, you still have to sell 5 a day. And if I sold 4 one day, well, now I got to sell 6 the following day. So if you have that and you see it, and it motivates you to get there, and it helps you get your goals quicker. So visuals are very important to me as well. So I would recommend keeping your sales record book. Keep yourself organized. get some sort of planner as far as, a lot of people are tech savvy now. They'll do it all through their phones or whatever it may be. I still use the Franklin planner, which is back in 1996, right? And so another thing, sales is an art form because you have to be that cheesy, used, pushy car salesman mentality, but without the client knowing that. So for instance, I give someone a new person for a quote for auto and home, I give them a quote and I say to them, when would you like me to give you a call back? Oh, give me a call back on Wednesday. So you go in your planner, write down Wednesday, give so-and-so a call, and you call them up. And you call them up on Wednesday, hey, you wanted me to give you a call. Just want to see how we compare. Oh, you know what? I had that chance to talk to my wife about it. Can you give me a call on Friday? Friday work for you? Again, they're telling you when you want them to call back. So it's not like you keep calling them and you're hounding them, but you're hounding them because they want you to hound them, because you keep texting them, when do you want me to give you a call back? And basically, you don't stop calling them until they buy the policy or they tell you, I decided to go somewhere else. So you can't just give a quote and then file it. Doesn't work like that, because you will not get the business. And if you do, it's a very low percentage. You have to follow up.
So let me ask you this. One of the newer agents asked me, I think it was Monday, you do everything you can to get deck sheets from their existing coverage?
No, I don't. And because again, I'm trying to make it simple for them.
Right.
So what's nice about the farmer system is we just get the very basic information. It'll pull up at least their limits of liability.
Right.
But I do verbally ask what's their deductible, right? Since the new system, I just ask what's your deductible. You have rental car, towing, things like that. So the deck pages aren't that important to get. Otherwise, if you ask your clients to get you a deck page, they're not going to get your deck page. If they do, it's going to be weeks before they get your deck page. And by that time, they lost interest in buying insurance off you, and you're going to lose a sale. So again, streamline it. Ask them first and last name, date of birth. You don't even need to ask the driver's license, but I do anyway, just in case, because it's not always perfect. Home address. Do you own or rent? Do you have a college degree? What's your kids' grade point average if they have kids? And then that's it. And then say, I'll call you back. And then you do all the homework, call back.
So the question I have next is, are you a systems person, a process person, a planner, all of the above? And I think you've kind of shown that.
Oops.
Absolutely, 100%. And so, and what I'll tell you guys is that everybody that I see, I ask, are you keeping a sales record book, sales log? The one that we sent out to you, the one that we teach all the new people to do. Because if you're not tracking what you're doing, you don't know where you're at. And the other thing that this goes way back to, I don't know where, but winners keep score. And that's exactly what Tony's doing. He's keeping track of us 5, 5, 5, 5. And when we talked 11:30 Monday morning about something, he told me he'd already written 13. And I said, well, that's great. What are you going to do this afternoon? And that's his mentality too. But you got to keep track. And he's doing it old school, right in the sales log. But it's the visual. I'll tell you another quick story. When he first started, he was writing a lot of auto, but he wanted to be the fire leader in the district. So what he did was he created this thing, and I swear to God, it looked like it was done in crayon. But it was this big, long sheets put together on the wall of his storeroom. It had color-coded stuff in it. It showed where he was, where the competition was, and in the end, he won. And he's won ever since. So again, the visuals are a big deal.
They are, especially the sales record book, because you can have like 3 great days and then it'll give you a false sense of security, thinking, oh my God, I'm having a great month. But you're not for a few days or maybe one day a week of a great 1 week a month. I mean, 1 day a week where you're doing great, and you think you're doing great if you don't keep track.
Right.
But in reality, you're not doing great. And it also vice versa. Let's just say you think, oh my God, I haven't been doing good this month. Then you look at the board and go, oh, no, I'm actually doing good. Because some people can fall into a mild depression going, oh, the company sucks, the rates suck, and we're not selling anything. But if you had a sales record book that shows something different, it'll keep that confidence going, because you don't want to be discouraged in any way. It's burning down. And there's a lot, as you guys all know, that we can be upset about, but if you stay upset, it's just going to hinder your performance.
So a lot of this we've covered. The next question is, talk about what you do. Done a lot of that. How you issue 1,600 policies a year. So we've kind of talked about that. Kind of going back to the staff, what roles do the 3 staff people play? Or what do they do, and what do they allow you to not have to do?
Yeah, so it's very important that you do nothing, meaning you got to do what's important, and what's important is sales. You need to train your staff to take the load off you, where they do everything. They service the clients from beginning to end. All you're doing is sales. So when I come to my office, or if I have a new hire, I explain to them, I'm not your boss. I'm just a salesperson. That's it. You run you service the clients. Leave me alone. Leave me in my cave. Let me sell. And you got to get there in your agency where you can hire the staff to take care of your clients. Now, don't get me wrong. You still want to be there for your clients. I'm there for all my clients. My girls are the first line of defense for me, because 9 out of 10 times it's very simple. I want to pay a bill. What's my coverages? These are all things that your staff can answer. You don't have to answer them. I think you try to do too much and service your clients. You have to take the time away from you from selling. And that's how you're going to grow. And that's how you're going to make all the money, is from selling. So again, just have your staff service the clients, and give you more time to do what's important.
Yeah, for the established agents, that's absolutely it. For the new people, that's just what you've got to aspire to do, and it takes time to get there. But once you do, that's it, because we're in sales, and we can never lose track of that fact, and it's easy to get caught up with other stuff.
There's a lot
to potentially get in the way. How do you overcome premium objections?
Well, if someone calls me up, and this happens a lot, obviously, it's really just Geico, where they just destroy us. And I just explained to them, look, you can always find someone cheaper than the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, but it's the quality of the company, the quality of the service keep going down. So I explained that to them. Then I said, well, tell you what, if you got a quote from State Farm, Allstate, Geico, can I see it? And they send it to me. And then right away, I compare apples to apples. I go, I want to make sure they're getting the same coverages. I want to make sure they're paying the same deductible. Now, I'm trying to make sure I don't get myself in trouble here. But if I know the client has a DUI or tickets and accidents, and I don't see it on that quote, I'll call that company up. And I said, hi, did you put tickets and accidents and DUIs on there? Oh, no, we didn't know anything about it. Okay, no problem. And then I call up the client and say, hey, just to let you know, I'm looking at your quote. Your DUI is not on there. Your 4 tickets aren't on there. Now, why don't you call back that guy and put that back on there, and then call me back and let me know what the price is. So that's the kind of the fine line where maybe across the boundaries there. But if you want to save a client, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay. And how about on new business, or does it really become an issue because of the way you're presenting the whole account to them?
You mean as far as new business, where?
Well, I guess maybe does it come up because you're not discussing what their annual premium is as compared to ours, or?
Well, there's no way not to discuss it, because they're going to see it anyway, because they always want an emailed copy. So what I do, though, if I know that I'm more expensive on the auto, but I'm really less on the home, what I do is I don't break them up individually. I just say, look, with what you're paying now with XYZ company, your auto and your home together per year are this amount. Me, for auto and home per year, is this amount. And then show them the cheaper, how we're cheaper that way. Because it could be we're more expensive on the auto.
Right.
But I don't say that part.
Right.
So you just want to try to leave, especially with new business, as much negativity out of the equation as possible.
So you're finding for the most, the homeowners is what?
Saves us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our homeowners is one of the cheapest.
Okay. Okay, good. So what are a couple major hurdles you've overcome in your career? what's stuff that you had to overcome that had you not could have kept you from being where you are? Or is there anything?
Well, we always have the biggest hurdle was, I think, the first year I was in business, we had a moratorium on fire. And we couldn't write homeowners insurance. So try to build up your book of business from the first year.
So
Already being.
let me set the groundwork. So in 1994, earthquake in Northridge, California, on a fault that insurance companies or nobody knew was even there, cost us $2 billion with a B dollars. We could, and at that point in time, if we wrote homeowners, we had to include an offer for earthquake insurance. We could not just say, well, we're not going to quote you on that. And if they took it, we had to give them the coverage. The rates we were charging were ridiculously low. We really didn't know what we were doing as an industry. So us, State Farm, Allstate, everybody stopped writing fire insurance because of that. And that's when the California Earthquake Authority was created. So people could have the choice. We didn't have to offer it to them. And I will tell you right now, along with Tony in that reserve agent training class that I was doing, there were 4 other people in that class. They're all still here today. And I'm a firm believer that that made them better, because as we'll say here, it made just things incredibly difficult.
Yeah. And throughout the year, the company, they throw changes at us. You gotta fill out this mileage form questionnaire. You gotta do the MOI has to be signed. And these are all little hurdles, but they're still hurdles because now it slows down production here, because now you have to redo your office here. Rate increases, we have rate increases quite often, and those are all hurdles. And you have to sell yourself to these clients of what they're getting and remind them what they're getting is very important. So, there's just hurdles after hurdles, and staffing, of course, there's always hurdles there. But, the way I look at it is, your life is already set out on a paved road. And every once in a while, you're going to get these huge potholes in the road, which is hurdles. And if you sit in front of that pothole and just go, oh my God, I can't drive over those potholes, or my cars, or my rims, you're never going to go anywhere in life. But just drive around the damn pothole, just keep going forward. And that's all we can do. I know a lot of us are frustrated with some things, but we can't dwell on it. We just got to just do what's best for our families. That's sell. At the end of the day, selling is what's going to get us where we need to be at.
Okay. What do you believe your policyholders appreciate most about you and your agency?
Or honesty. If a client calls up and wants to do something that I don't think is good for them, I'll tell them that it's not good for them. Don't do this, do this instead. Just being there for them as well. Like all my clients have my personal cell phone. It's on my business card. I know a lot of you probably don't want to be bothered like that, but they love that they can get a hold of me 24 hours a day. What's nice about that too is they can never call you back and say, you're never there, I can never get a hold of you. Oh, well, you have my personal cell phone. So that throws, but just being there for your clients. That's it.
Okay. If you could change one thing in your career, what would it be? Write commercial sooner?
Yeah. This guy's been busting my chops since I started write commercial, and I have written a little bit of commercial this year. But what would I change? I would clone myself 15 times so I can have someone just like me doing what I do. There's a great agent in a different district named oh my God, Richard So. And he has like probably 10, 15 people that sell for him. And I admire him for that, because he's able to do that and find those people. I haven't been able to find them, but I'm more of a hands-on guy, and I like to keep my overhead low. Oops, this is a client now. Wants to buy a policy. I'll sell you on those 5 policies later. I didn't answer the phone. But I guess if I could do anything, I'd probably look for a sales force. That would be the only thing. But again, I love to sell, so that's why I still do it. But
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Okay, good. Monica, do we have any questions chatted in?
Not right now, no. If you
Seriously?
guys have questions, chat them in.
I see 5 chats. Is there?
Is that, do you see that at the bottom, Monica? The
I
chat?
have mine where they would chat it into the group. Unless they're chatting them directly to you.
I could try to click a.
Yeah, just click on it.
Okay, we had,
Thank you. That was nothing.
now, that was just about the tattoos, so we're way back, we're way back at the beginning.
Oh,
So, a lot of you have been asking me for this for years. So if you've got questions, chat them in, because I know you've got them.
We've got one. Stacy wants to know, are you using the Apex system?
Getting used to it. I'm just so stuck in the old school way of doing things, so I'm still trying to get used to it. So am I using it? Yes. I just need to apply myself a little bit more.
Well, kind of the things that Tony was talking about is when do I get back to somebody? What's their X date, this and that. That's what Apex is for us now. It's our new X date card. And it's here. The other parts of the system are going to be bolted onto it. So the sooner we start going into quote through Apex, the better off we're going to be.
Patrick asked, what do I do? It's a two-part question. What do I do when I have a bad month, or what do I do to celebrate the good months? You're going to have bad months, but I'll be honest with you. When I see my month being bad or start to be bad, I just work twice as hard. So it's kind of like when COVID hit. When COVID hit, I had to work twice as hard. When we had rate increases, twice as hard. We had moratoriums, I had to work twice as hard. When the economy crashes, I just work twice as hard because I like to keep my agency going. So what do? I just work twice as hard when I see my month going bad, so I don't have a bad month. And I hate to say it, but I don't think I've had a bad month
Quite a while.
for quite a while because I don't let it. I just don't let it happen. What do I do to celebrate the wins? I don't celebrate because I don't think you should. You gotta stay humble. You gotta stay humble. You gotta stay hungry. If you celebrate, to me, it's a form of cockiness. It's a sign of arrogance, and you start getting a big head, and then your production will start going down. So I don't celebrate. I still go in every single day, every single month, as if I have nothing, and I need to do well.
So Patrick, I got an idea for you. When month or great week, we tell you if you want to celebrate, all you do is you call me, come pick me up. We go spend the afternoon at a bar and you buy me drinks. How's that?
Oh my gosh.
So let's see, what's the other here? How do you sell the value of your prospective clients? Overcome the price. Well, again, if it's a company, no, that's not good. I'll give you an example. Allstate. I'll just tell them straight up. Just because you have Allstate on that board does not mean you have Allstate. You actually have Allstate's doing so bad they broker it out. They don't write car insurance anymore. They don't write homeowners insurance anymore. They actually broker it out to a third carrier. So, and then you also let them know how 800 numbers work. When you have a problem or even a simple question, you push this number, you push that number. It's just a headache. I let them know that when you call in my agency, you talk to me or my staff, nobody else. Your problem is handled right away. There's no push this number, push that number, then go over here and I carry the one. You don't do all that. So that's all you can do. There are going to be those people that we're just like Geico, for instance. We're just way out of the ballpark. We're twice the amount. And there's people you're just not going to save. But just don't get stuck on those people and just work and find the new prospect.
How about claims? Do you talk to them about claims search?
So what I do is, because my agency is so large and I have limited staff, I really streamline my agency tremendously. So when someone does have a claim, I do pass the buck to claims department. But I tell them this, because they do have to take a recorded statement from them. That's why they have to call the claims department. But I say this, but if you have any issue at all with this claims department, my cell phone, you call me and I will go to bat for you. And I do that consistently. So sometimes I have to call Kevin, you know, but that's what I do with the claims. Yeah, I mean, I do pass the buck, but I'm still there for them if they need me. I'm trying to, at some point, you got to give some responsibility to people that work under you, which is like the claims department, to help, that they need to do their job. And if they do their job, then I wouldn't have to get involved.
Go for me.
Uh,
Do you mostly sell term life or value?
So it depends on their age. If they're 30 and under, I go for the whole life. And if they're 40 and over, I do go with the term. Unfortunately, as you guys know, life insurance is a hard sell. So, these whole life policies are great policies, but they are very expensive and it's kind of hard to sell that. But you can, you can sell them on, look, here's what you're going to have in cash premium. Here's what you have invested at cost to you, et cetera, et cetera. But I will admit, I do sell mostly term. Yeah. We got another one there. Have you ever passed the bill? This is bill, right? Yeah.
Yeah, billing discrepancies to the 8 number.
No, I don't. If there's billing problems, we find out the problem and we call the client back to let them know what the problem is. And if there is a problem, we fix the problem for them. Yeah. Someone just sent a message to Amy. Amy, you got a message from somebody.
Who else? Anil, what questions you got, buddy? You've been bugging me for this for years. There we go, Norman.
To answer your first part, am I selective? No. I'll sell it to anybody. As long as they're breathing, they have a valid driver's license. If they don't have a valid driver's license, I'll work with them to contact the DMV. and
You'll
get a
print
valid
one up for
license. Yeah. Culture, backgrounds, income. Again, I truly don't discriminate against anybody. And there's been times where I've been referred out to semi-homeless people. So no, I don't discriminate. And I think, especially at the beginning of your career, write anybody with a pulse. And I still write anybody with a pulse. I don't, and that person that's barely breathing, I'm gonna sell them on a fire policy as well. So no, I don't discriminate. I think we changed the mindset with some little different cultures.
Do you ever run into that? And somebody,
The only, and I won't say the nationality, but there's a nationality there that are very rude and disrespectful towards women. And when those come about, I just tell my staff, just put them on hold and then get me on the phone. And when I talk to them, boy, they're as pleasant as can be. So yeah, that's all I can say about that one there. I know you hate monthly there, Amy, but to answer your question, I'm sorry, let me start with the first part of your question. She asked me percent I have of monthly versus 6 months. It's really up to the client. I don't ever tell the client what to do. Is if they have monthly now, they're going to stay on monthly. If they have 6 months now, they're going to stay on 6 months. If they do quarterly, they're going to stay on quarterly. Whatever they have now, the existing carrier, I'm going to put them on. I don't dislike monthly, and the reason why I don't dislike monthly is because every single one of my clients are on monthly. They're on auto pay. That's why I don't dislike it, because it's going to constantly. You're going to have less lapses when you have them on auto pay.
that's right. And just so Amy and everybody else, just so you know, that the retention numbers with people who are on monthly pay, especially with the auto pay, are much higher than the 6 month or 12-month renewals. I mean, that's why we've done nothing but bank check plan in life insurance for forever, because those policies stay on the books longer.
Orlando looks like you wrote, knowing what you know now, what would you advise someone who's just starting out? Stay hungry and work. Unfortunately, you got to work long hours, and find a system that works for you. If you have clients now, pull those lists, cross-sell them. When new customers come in, cross-sell them.
So let's say you're a new agent in 6 months, you have tremendous background as a restaurant manager, and not talking like Taco, talking nice restaurants, what would you do? Who would you prospect to?
Well, I forgot about that. You mean, before I answer that question, contact your family members, every family member you have and every friend you have. And then when you're in the restaurant industry, then try to contact that old boss and sell. Commercial. Feedback. Don't know what happened there. We get a little feedback, but you contact all your ex and fellow employees.
Well, he was the boss.
He was the boss.
Yeah,
So he's got a lot of connections with people who brought him his steaks and his vegetables and
right. Commercial.
commercial. Oh no, yeah, commercial. If I said contact all those people in that restaurant industry that are linked to the different little businesses that are associated with the restaurants and try to cross sell them, well, not cross sell them, sell them on commercial. Commercial and I'm not just admitting this because Kevin's here, but commercial is extremely important. It's such, I mean, the way I do it the hard way. I'm writing 150 to 200 policies a month, but I can write 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 commercial policies and get the same effect. So I'm doing it the hard way. So if you can, maybe that can be your niche, just focus on commercial, and you can probably just write 5 policies a month versus what I write, and you'll get to that million gross written premium, no problem. My son will eventually be on my team in about 2 years, and he already said he wants to focus on commercial. So he'll be able to hit a whole nother avenue that I never even really ventured out to. And I'm really losing out on premium and commission because there's a lot of business to be written out there. That's it for questions.
Amy, I can help you Chinese clients if you're too busy.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I love you, Amy, but
Okay. Anybody else?
if they only speak Chinese, then I will, yes, definitely. I think that's it.
Okay, last.
Oh, we got another one.
Last year, so it's from George Zhang.
So again, I said this earlier, the only thing I did different last year than the prior year is I worked twice as hard. I know that's not the answer you want, but it's the answer I'm going to give you because it's the truth. I do this when the economy has crashed, I think in my career 2 times. Yeah. And I knew the potential of a disaster that could be for my agency, because I know that people aren't going to be able to afford those 5 cars anymore. I knew that people aren't going to be able to afford those 3 homes anymore. So I knew there's going to be cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. So during those times, I just worked twice as hard to replace what's leaving. And I think that's what contributed to what I wrote last year during the pandemic. Because as you know, with the pandemic, people can't afford their insurance because our government decided to shut down this world for flu. But and it just it destroyed a lot of people. I knew that was going to happen. And just to let you guys know, California has 172,000 people leaving a year. That's the most since 1900. So you guys need to start taking care of those clients and start writing new business to replace what's going to be leaving, unfortunately.
Anything out there is really the operation here didn't change much last year. The girls were here every day. Tony was here every day. I mean, and they're taking precautions and everything, but that just nothing changed. And I think that was availability is the thing.
Yeah, my thing is I was a little defiant. I guess it's just the way I do things. But I was not going to let the government tell me if I can or cannot provide for my family. So I didn't shut my office down. I did take precautions. I kept the doors locked. All the girls stayed in their individual offices. And I also gave them the opportunity to not come in. I said, if you don't feel safe, you don't need to come in. They all wanted to work and make money. So we stayed open. But again, no clients came into the office ever. And if they did, they had to stand outside the glass door and talk to us that way. And the way my office is, we all have individual offices. So they stayed in their offices, they shut the door, and they did what they had to do. I think that definitely helped last year for sure.
Yeah, because as Tony said, when you're servicing your clients, the best, or as an agent, your best ability is availability, being there for people.
So someone, let's see here, Raj wrote, for commercial policies, any tips on where to get started and how? Kevin has a list of great commercial companies where we're very, very competitive. What I personally I like going for a type of construction like HVAC, where they have a large amount of cars, and I like to do their commercial autos. That's a lot of work to input. And I don't know how many times I've stayed up till midnight inputting 30 people or 50 people and 50 VIN numbers, but I see the potential of a large amount of money to be made. I think those policies, not to talk money, but one policy got me what, $15,000.
Yeah.
You know, and a few of those. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of money to be made, because I don't make $15,000 a month on new business premium that I write for my autos and fire and umbrella combined. You know, but here I can write one commercial policy and make more than that. So that's what I'm saying. Commercial is very important. So, but Kevin has that list. You can ask him for that list, and he'll get that to you.
Yeah,
barber shops are good.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to do that. And Raj, when you're talking to, we can explain to you what it is and get you what you need for whatever industry you want to go after. Right. Anybody else? There we go. You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. Well, guys, I guess all I can say is I think your mindset's very important. Go into your office in a good mood, a happy mood, a confident mood that you are going to sell whatever goal you set. Could be 1, could be 2, could be 5, could be 10 policies a day. Go in with confidence. You know, again, I hate to bother you, some of you, with the religious part of it, but I think you definitely need to believe in some sort of higher power and pray on it. And just, I think that's just a way of putting it out in the universe. And I think when things out in the universe, things will happen. If you put negativity, I mean, think about it. Sometimes someone thought something negative is going to happen, and it happens. It's because you put it out there. There's some sort of bigger power behind there. But again, not to get sidetracked, but just again, just more of a positive attitude, a confident attitude, and try to do what I gave you advice today to do with pulling these lists, cross. I think the easiest thing to do with anybody with any type of PIF in your agency, cross out. There's a gold mine there. I don't know how many times I beg Kevin, if someone's leaving, let me have the agency, because I'm running out of things to cross out. So I'm telling you, every single one of you has a gold mine in your agency. You just got to go after it. I mean, I can't stress this enough, because Kevin can tell you the numbers. If you're under 50% cross-sold, oh my God, you're looking at thousands of dollars there.
Well, and the retention.
And it's true. Because if you have just auto with a customer and he has his phones with AAA, eventually that AAA guy's gonna go, hey, you know, if you bring your autos over, I can save you money. He doesn't tell them, because you have your home with me, you're gonna save money. He just says, I'm gonna save you money. And they go, well, shit, if you can save you money, go ahead and try. And the clients don't know about the 18% discount that they're getting on the home for their autos. So that's why you need to cross up. If you don't, someone else will, or I might.
All right, anybody else?
That's it.
Good. Well, it's about an hour and 15 minutes, so that's a good that's a nice little chunk of time. So I want to thank Tony for setting the time aside. You know, and when you guys, there he goes. So Amy says thanks. Great.
Thank you.
You know, as I said, what sets him apart from everybody else is his willingness to put in the time, work efficiently, to have systems, simple ones, not complicated. It doesn't have to be. But I've never seen an agency that gets more done in a certain period of time, staff included, than this agency. So again, he shared with you today. If you have questions, he'll continue to do that. If you see him at lunches, whatever, yeah, ask him questions. He's he's a sellaholic. He enjoys talking about it, like he's done today. And now just, he's going to go out and continue to do it. So thanks again, buddy.
No,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you for the guys, the 38 of you that came out to listen to me babble. Because again, like I stated when I first started this little thing here, this seminar, or whatever you want to call it, I don't think of myself anything special. So when Kevin asked me, I was honored and I was kind of shocked. So I'm here to help anybody if they need it.
And that's the thing. A thing that I think you'll see as we go through these 3 seminars is each one of these people is very humble. They appreciate what they've got. They just, in a lot of cases, are willing to do the things that other people want to succeed. So anyway, again, thanks to Tony. Great, everybody tuning in. The next one's in 2 weeks. Andres Rosales commercial. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say, and certainly we'll learn from it. So we will see you soon. And those people attending the Soaring Eagles lunch on Friday, we'll see you then. Thanks,
See you guys.
See you.